glare coming off of that snow into this window, it's almost blinding.
Yeah, welcome to episode 12, everybody. This is a work in progress.
It's always a work in progress. Isn't everything, though? It's like every time you play a show or you go to a new venue, everything's a work in progress.
We're trying a new platform today. Geoff's been recording this in something called OBS, and today we're using a feature that I use called StreamYard, and we're going to see how it works, I guess.
Yeah, we'll see how this one goes. Hopefully this one, hey, if this works great, then we'll just keep doing it this way. This will be the easy way to do it. So.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
Yes.
So today, we going to talk about anything in particular? Are we just going to chat, or we never have any ideas, and then we come up with an idea and it always flows.
Yeah. We were just talking about the way you were doing your trivia about how you had that Arena Rock show on there, and how you had them. You were in the center, and you had all the guys, and they were doing trivia against each other.
Right. So, it was a blast. And those guys, they're so much fun. And we had a blast with it. And we did 4 rounds of trivia with those guys live with their fans on their page, and people were into it. We had a couple geniuses on there that knew every question. They were all saying, "Oh, it's too easy." Well, some of them were easy and some of them were tough, but it was fun.
That's why sometimes I don't play those trivia games with certain people. Like last week, we had Brandon on. I mean, holy moly. That time when I went down to Heather's and played against him, you might as well forget it.
Brandon is a genius when it comes to music. And you'd look at Brandon, you see what the music he plays and all that. You'd think, well, he's in the R&B wheelhouse and everything, but he can pull those rock songs out, the country songs out.
He knows it.
And he surrounds himself with this team of people who have just a variety of genres. And they're always in the top 5 every night at trivia. And there's like 30 some teams that play down there. So
I need to start getting down there. I can't wait for that place to get open back up. So
yeah, me too. I'm ready.
It'll be nice.
I'm so ready to have a little fun at Heather's and do that. And I'm having fun at Mr. Burroughs too on Tuesday nights. And here in Ohio, we're having fun. We had a nice snowstorm again. Not as much as they predicted. Thank goodness we didn't get like 15 inches of snow. But I was out snow blowing this morning. And
I still haven't touched my drive yet. Yeah. Don't know if I'll think about it. I don't know.
I got out early. See. I got out early, man. But I got it.
All my neighbors were out there snow blowing. That's one thing, when I first got here, I lived in base housing, so I didn't need a snow blower. We just either had small driveways or depending on where we lived, a parking lot, and they always cleaned everything for us when I lived on base, so I didn't have to worry about it.
Right.
But then here, I'm like, and they want you to do the sidewalks and everything too.
It is. It is work. It's a lot of work. But I'm glad I have a snowblower and I don't have to shovel all that because it was heavy this morning. There was like an inch of sleet below it. Yes. So obviously we're recording this on a day that it doesn't air. Hopefully by the end of the week when this thing pops up on everybody's feed, the snow will be out of here. I hope so.
And that's why I get bright and then I get dark again because I'm facing this window here, and that glare coming off of that snow into this window, it's almost blinding.
I've got the same thing happening here. I need a little powder on the head or something to tone that down a little bit. I could just put a sticker on it here. I could put Foley's Irish Pub up there and get rid of it.
I'm about to go put some sunglasses on. This is brutal.
And I just hate this camera angle. I do. It drives me nuts. I feel like I'm side-eyeing you or something the whole time, like looking sideways.
Sometimes you just got to look at the camera, try not to pay attention to your screen. That's what it is.
Yeah. So we've had some good success. We've had some good views. We're building our viewers and our subscribers on YouTube. And I think this week, I'm going to change it up this week. I've been posting on with Facebook and YouTube, and I get a lot of views on Facebook, but you never know about Facebook views. We've talked about that. You never know how long they're really on. So this week I'm just going to put it on YouTube and share the link to Facebook. I'm not going to post it to Facebook and see how it goes and see what happens to the YouTube channel that way, because it's funny. I've been watching your views, and last week my YouTube link was broken or something, and you helped me out by posting yours on my page and all that. I appreciate that. But you had a bunch of views.
I did. I got up to 99
not subscribers.
Right, not subscribers. Yeah. I don't have 99 subscribers. Let's not. But with the shares and everything like that, well, something must have happened because Brandon reached out to me and said, "Hey, people can't access the link." And so I had to go back in, and I actually deleted all my posts off of Route 88 and off of my page and everything, and reposted it and reshared it and retagged everybody. Which is one of the other things too that's weird. Depending, like sometimes it won't even let me tag you. It'll let me tag your Haul Around Town page, but it won't let me tag you. And then sometimes it'll let me tag you, but not your Haul Around Town page.
It's so weird. And it changes every day. And I get so frustrated with Facebook and all that. And my link was broken like right out of the chute. And what happened was, for some reason, mine and YouTube, and I tried to share the YouTube link, but it went into processing. It said video is processing, and that's all it would do. And it just stuck there. So I had to delete the whole thing and redo it as well. And then it worked fine after that. But, I sometimes, it's tough when you post these videos that are an hour long, like that one was. And
because they're huge too. They're huge files.
I got to walk away from the camera or the computer. And that computer that I use for this, I rely on in my studio to do a lot of work too. So it's, then I'm on an iPad, and you just, some things you can't do with your social media on an iPad that you can do on the computer, and vice versa. So it's been a learning curve. And I think there's a lot of people out there that are YouTubers who know a lot more than I do about all this stuff, but we're getting there. And I've got like 30 subscribers on my YouTube channel now, and that's just for a start, and it'll slowly grow, and
slowly but surely.
Seth Rogen was not built in a day.
No, I think, or Joe Rogan. Yeah, that's what I think.
Seth Rogen. Here I am. I'm talking movie stars. Joe Rogan.
Joe Rogan. Yeah, I mean, I think he said, the first year or two, he maybe, if he was lucky to have 100 subscribers after the first year or two, he thought that was great. And he's, now look at him. Holy geez, he's got, 5 million. Well, now he's not even on YouTube. Now he just does everything on Spotify. But
right. And I can remember back when I hit 1,000 people on my Haul Around Town page on Facebook. I was so excited. It was like, wow, 1,000 people, and now we're up almost to 5, and it's growing every day, and we've really built some fun stuff. And like I said, it's a learning curve though. This social media stuff is just crazy when it comes to the changes that go on in it every day. And you think you learn something, and then boom.
And then the next thing you know, then you got to learn something else or do something different. And I just saw a notification the other day that said, we were trying to book for a show, and the wife was talking to somebody, and they were like talking to the owners or somebody, and they're like, "What does the band play? Because I can't figure out what they do, like what kind of music they have." They went into our about section. It was just kind of it's a little brief history about us and how we kind of, wanted to branch off away from rock. And she's like, "You need to change that." And so I went to change it. And then it says, "This is going away."
Yeah.
in a couple of weeks or whatever. I'm like, well, why am I going to bother? Every time I go to do something or change something or fix something, it goes away and they change it. So I'm like, okay, all right, whatever.
I don't get any of it. I do. But I do get one thing. I'm moving this camera, and you can deal with it in post. How's that? There we go.
Fix it in post.
That's a little better. Fix it in post. Now I can actually look at you and see what I'm doing. I know you love the beach. I love the beach. And certainly we all love the beach. But I will say that, in fact, we love the beach so much that let me get a little beach behind us here. How's that?
Oh, yeah. There you go.
That looks comforting, doesn't it?
It does.
So
I could be sitting right there.
What's your favorite place to vacation, Geoff? You have any? We talked.
I've got so many. I really do love the beach, and we've been to beaches. That's the one thing that we try to do every year. And I think this past year is the first year that we actually didn't get to go to the beach because of everything that was going on. think I've talked about it in previous episodes. You know, we were supposed to go to Nashville for spring break when COVID hit, and we had to cancel that. So then we actually were able to reschedule, so we didn't lose any money. And so we went to Nashville for 4 or 5 days instead of going to the beach or whatever. And so that's what we did last summer. But typically we try to go to a different beach every year. And we've been to the Carolinas, and we've been to Virginia. And we haven't made it to the Cape yet. That's one on our list before we leave Ohio. All up and down Florida and the Panhandle, Alabama. Years and years ago, I was stationed out in California, so I got to hit multiple beaches out there: Pismo Beach, Santa Barbara, beaches in LA, all up and down California. So we've kind of been all over. And I mean, beach. Oh, and then of course the Caribbean. You know, we got to go down there when we were on a cruise. That was amazing. That would probably be my top that I've been to so far, is the Caribbean. Going down there, or the Virgin Islands. The Virgin Islands were amazing. It was like February and perfect weather. You can't beat it. You get that nice breeze.
What do you like the most about that? I mean, is it the water? Is it just the beauty? I mean, so many people pick different vacation spots, I think, because of, you know, different reasons. They like the scenery, they like wildlife. You know, what's your pick for that? If you were going to tell somebody why you love like the Virgin Islands, what would it be?
I just love, well, the vibe. Most beach towns and beach areas, you know, it's a slower pace. Everything, nobody's in a hurry. Everything's relaxed. It's laid back. And of course, some of that's just because you're on vacation. You know, you're not in a hurry. You're not trying to get to an appointment or trying to get to work or trying to, you know, get to your kid's soccer game or whatever. You're just taking your time, and nothing's rushed and nothing's in a hurry. So that's the big thing. And then the next is just, I like sunsets. I don't like getting up early enough to see the sunrise, but if I am in a place where it's only the sun, you know, a sunrise, then I will try to make a point at least one day to try to get up and watch the sun come up. But I like the sunsets, and I love the water, and I could just sit and listen to waves crash for hours. And I can go out there at night in where you can barely even see anything. I don't have to see it. It's just hearing it. We actually have a sound machine in our room, and that is the sound, is crashing waves all night long. That's what we listen to.
It soothes you to sleep. I mean, it makes you relax. I love the beach. I do. And I lived on the beach for about 4 years, and really, really loved it. That picture behind us is from where I used to live, basically. And the sunsets every day on the Gulf of Mexico are gorgeous. Even the worst day, sometimes the clouds can light it up and make it beautiful, like it did here in that picture. And it's fun. But you know, you can tell you're a surf guy, you're a sand guy, and a warm weather guy. But don't you ever wish sometimes you could go and just spend, let's say, 6 months on a beach like that and play your music in those little beach pubs, and, you know, not worry about anything but you, a guitar, your toes in the sand. I mean, I think that'd be the perfect fit. The guys that play down there in Fort Myers Beach, Florida, where I have been, is just, they just have a ball, you know, and it's a different crop of tourists every day. So, you know, you've got your following, but you also have this constant new group of people who are indulging in adult beverages. They're having fun. They let loose, and it just makes for a great atmosphere.
Well, I always joke, you know, that's what I wanted to do, is I just want to have a little tiki bar on the beach and play music all the time. And that would be my ideal job. Just get up every morning, go down to my little tiki bar, you know, raise the flap. If it's that small, raise the little flap of the bar, put out a couple of bar stools, and have a little thing to the side where somebody can come play. And if there's nobody to play, that I can go sit out there and play just for fun and hang out, and maybe some locals come and maybe tourists come, and just have fun and enjoy it, and enjoy that lifestyle, and just laid back the beach and the salt water and the sand and everything else.
Man,
that would be my ultimate right there.
Yeah, and you've traveled a lot of places, and you have your favorites, you have your least favorites, but anytime you can get away, I think, from your locale and go and see new sights. I don't even, I mean, I like taking a drive out into new areas, even in Ohio here, that I've never been, just to go see some new scenery. And used to ride a motorcycle, loved riding my bike, and getting out there and seeing places in these old country roads and things that are out there and some of the scenery. But it's just needed. I think it's needed in your soul sometimes to get away.
Yes.
And no matter where you go, whether you like cold and you like snow skiing and snowboarding and all that, or you like surfing, it's all good for the soul. I
Absolutely.
Think.
Oh, well, I mean, really, I mean, I think you need it. People need to get a break and get away. And I think that's a big problem that a lot of people in the US in general, they take shorter vacations than anywhere in the world. I don't know. I think people just need to take a break sometime and stop taking life and everything so seriously. And you're right, just to get away. I mean, sometimes you don't have to go hours and hours and hours away. You can do stuff right here in your backyard, hop in the car and go 30 minutes, go an hour. I mean, you can, from here, I mean, you go an hour or two, you can be up in the woods. You can go to Hocking Hills, some beautiful areas up in there. I've seen some people recently posting a few pictures of some of the waterfalls around here that are just beautiful, amazing, partially frozen, completely frozen. And that's just down the road, 20, 30 minutes away. So you don't have to go far just to get away and enjoy nature and enjoy just something different.
It's funny. You said something a minute ago about people around the world. There are people around the world, other countries, where they really take vacation seriously, or holiday, whatever you want to call it. And I knew a couple from the UK who, when I was captaining a boat down in Fort Myers, Florida, Fort Myers Beach, would come down for a month at least twice a year. I mean, they took a month off and they come down. They were the Osborns, no relation to Ozzy and Sharon, but and they love to fish, and they come down, they rent a place for a month and spend it on the beach from the UK. And that was okay in their jobs. I mean, they're allowed to leave for a month and things like that. And they were such fun people and fun loving people. And just, it seems like you may need that break a little bit. I think you're right. I think we work, and everybody's afraid if we walk away from work, it'll crumble,
Yes.
And it's that old adage, the old, glass half empty, half full type thing. And it's going to be there when you get back. It really will.
And it's still going to run, and it's still going to.
It should.
Exactly. It may not be exactly the way you want it, but the caveat to that, and this is one thing that I always did, I was always training my replacement. So when I was running the department and running everything, I was always made sure that somebody knew, it didn't have to be necessarily one person, but at least somebody knew how to do every portion of my job. Because if I walked out and got run over by a bus, guess what? The department still has to run. Patients still need to be seen and taken care of. Just because I'm not there doesn't mean that the hospital is going to close and our department's going to shut down. Right. So things still need to go on. Somebody needed to know how to order supplies. Somebody needed to know how to take care of, call schedules and patient schedules and every little thing, and the budgeting and all sorts of stuff. And so as long as somebody can do portions of your job, then you should be able to walk away. And so you should be able to take those vacations. I think a lot of people have a problem with allowing other people to handle that. It's to letting go and knowing that they can do the job.
Yes.
And I think that's a big thing, is people just need to learn to relax. But here, I just read an article not long ago that we work longer weeks. We have longer work weeks than most other countries. The average, I think, in most countries is around 36 hours a week, where the average in the United States is pushing 50 hours a week. That's ridiculous. But you were talking about the holiday thing and about how when we got to travel to Italy and we purchased like some wine and different things like that, we were having some issues with it getting into the States. And so we called and we couldn't get a hold of anybody. And then we come to find out, well, they're on holiday. Well, like, well, what do you mean they're on holiday? Like the whole place shuts down? They're like, yeah, pretty much. Yeah. Towns shut down, hotel, like everything everybody closes up and they go away on vacation. And they do it for a month or so. And that's just normal.
And like, maybe they're onto something there. I agree 100% with you on you can't, people don't want to walk away. And I was gone a week or so ago and I was in Florida for a week, and man, was I stressing over the fact that I had one event that week. I had a trivia event, and it's 2.5 hours long. And I was so stressed over making sure that the guy that was going to replace me did the job that I try to do. Right. And was a good fill in. And I mean, it's no different in your business doing music, that if, you have to cancel a gig because somebody's sick, whatever, and you get a fill in for the club, you want it to be good. And the guy did a great job for me. I mean, he does. And, but it's never the same. And it's funny how people perceive that too. It's like, you're not here, so it can't be as good, or it can't be this. And that frustrates me a little bit too. I'm like, give somebody a chance. And I've gone and filled in for this guy before and other people. And, you're the person who is the outsider sometimes. And
right.
Even in your regular day-to-day job. I mean, when I was in the fire department, and, you could be replaced. That's why we have multiple people of that rank or that position. And if you're the big boss and you're the chief, and I was fortunate enough to get to that point, then you don't need to be there anyway, because everybody below you is running the thing.
Right. I mean, you're just there making sure that they're doing what they're supposed to be doing.
Yeah. And you have to rely on your people to do their job, and you have to rely on people to just let it go a little bit. It sounds like a song from Frozen, but let it go, and get out there and enjoy life. Life's too short. And we've seen that in this COVID thing for the last year. Life's short, man. I mean, I've lost some friends, that were dear to me. And I think life's a little too short to be worried so much about not being able to get out and do things. And
yes,
I have 3 dogs at home. I got to deal with that when I go on vacation too. I mean, we had the greatest dog sitter ever at our house for a week. And she was here 4 times a day, letting those dogs out, playing with them, doing the things. And we felt so comfortable. So it's just you got to relax and go on vacation. And you've got a lot of cool places you mentioned there. That's some great places that you like to go.
Well, what about you? I mean, you talked about going to the beach, and you've got the little place down there, and you used to live on the beach. So if you lived on the beach, I mean, is that an ideal vacation spot, or where else would you rather go instead of? I mean, are there other places that you look to?
Before I hit that, let me say this. If you haven't lived in Florida, everybody thinks, oh, I want to move to Florida. I got to move to Florida. I got to move, to the beach. Once you live there and you're a resident, it is not the same. I will tell you that. And the tourism side is great for the economy, but it can really send you into stress. And I will say that from the point of, we lived on a 7-mile island. It normally took 10 minutes to drive off the island in the off season. In the on season, which is the cold time here, 2.5 hours in bumper to bumper traffic. So there's your stressors, that some of that, but you still can't knock it too bad when you're hanging out year round in 80-degree weather, and you can walk over and stick your toes in the Gulf of Mexico and do it anytime you want. And I don't want to sound ungrateful for that, because I'm not. It's great, but I have some other places I love to go. I mean, honestly, I like to go to the mountains. I love Gatlinburg and Gatlinburg, Pigeon Forge. It's touristy. It's but if you get off the path there a little bit and you get yourself up in the mountains and look around, there's some beauty to that. And there's some driving tours you can do that are beautiful up in there. And that's one place I really like to go. And then as a kid, Geoff, and this is going way back. Okay. In fact, we did have wheels. We did have wheels on the car. It was not pulled by a horse.
Oh, that's good.
But my parents were school teachers, so we traveled a lot in the summer. And one summer we took a trip out west for 21 days in the paneled station wagon with wood paneling on the side. This is the Griswolds all together here.
Oh,
Griswold.
I grew up with one of those too. There were 6
Yes.
of us in our family, and so that's what we had with the car carrier on top.
Yes.
Yes.
Pop up tent camper behind. And we took off out west and we went to basically every monument and national park you could see. It was it was the trip of a lifetime. And I thank my parents this day for taking this and doing that, because even back then it had to cost them a lot of money, even to
Right.
just stop. And that's when campgrounds you could pull in, and for $10 or $5 you could get a campsite, and plug into electric or do whatever you needed to do. But we went to places, and one place that sticks in my mind is one of the most beautiful places I ever is in Jackson Hole, Wyoming. It's the Grand Teton National Park, and there are these great snow-capped mountains that reflect on these lakes, and it's like every postcard you've ever seen when you're there. And the Snake River runs through there, and the trout fishing is wonderful. And just, I'll never forget, my dad and I got 3-day fishing license. We went trout fishing while we were there, and we're on the bank of this river, and all of a sudden we hear this big loud noise behind us, and it's a park ranger on a horse that was like a Clydesdale horse, massive horse. And he checked our fishing license. Couldn't have been a nicer guy, but it really kind of made me at that point, and I was young. I was thinking, man, that'd be a great job to be a park ranger. And I looked into it, even into colleges for it when I was in high school. But then it started to grow on me that those assignments in the beauty areas may be primo, and you may get assigned to the national park in some desert with nothing there.
Yes.
So I was a little worried about that. So I moved on to the fire department, which was equally as crazy, but it was a good career. But I love to go see places. I love the Keys in Florida. Love to go fishing.
I've never actually gotten to go to the Keys yet, so
Yeah, Key West is a really cool place. You would like Key West. I just can tell by the things you like, the little beach towns and all that. Key West is
yes.
commercialized too. I mean, everywhere like that, you get the big crowds, but there's some cool spots you can get that are off the path a little bit, and just love to get out. And really, that's my favorites. The beach in Florida. I've been to the Bahamas. I love the Cayman Islands. Those were great, but my favorites, certainly the state of Florida. Miami Beach is a whole different world than where we were on the West Coast. The Keys, certainly, well, take your time if you go to the Keys and you're driving. Just relax.
Just
I need to be in Key West in 3 hours, because it's not going to happen.
Oh yeah, especially this time of year, because we were actually thinking about that.
Yeah.
Driving down to the Keys, and you Google Map it, and it's like, oh, it's only going to take 3.5 hours. So basically, what you're telling me is it's probably going to take about 5 or 6.
Yeah, 5 or 6, and invariably, God love them, you get behind somebody that's in a Lincoln Continental from 1982, and they're 112, and they're driving under the steering wheel and going on this 2-lane bridge that goes through the Keys, all down through the Keys at about 40 miles an hour. So you're lucky if they're doing 40 miles an hour.
Right.
So yeah, it just plan on it, take it. But there's so much beauty to see along the way. You kind of don't want to go fast, because you miss a lot of things. All those little small towns, if you can stop at like Islamorada or Marathon and go on down then to Key West, there's some beauty in there, and some fun places to stop and eat and have a beverage. And it's a lot of fun down in those parts. And the only bad thing about it, if you live there, is the hurricanes, and that every few years
It gets a little windy and a little bit of rain. Right.
But really cool stuff, and I love vacationing. I'm looking for my next one right now, and we find deals. I mean, we find some deals to go, and this last trip didn't cost us anything because we use an Allegiant credit card all year long, and that Allegiant credit card gives us points, and we get free flights and got free rental car. And
well, and that's how we're going. And we're staying right on the beach, and I'm using my Marriott points for that. We actually had a credit from a trip that we had to cancel over December. So I think I paid $20 in fees to change the flight. And then, we do have to cover the rental. We got to pay for the rental car,
Right.
But now we're flying direct. So, okay, we'll be down there. We were going to drive, and instead, this weather is so unpredictable. at this point, you know.
Stuck somewhere.
I don't mind driving. I like driving when I go on vacation. It doesn't bother me a bit. To me, it's more convenient. You can pack the car with whatever you want. You're not limited to, 3 ounces to take on a plane if you're checking, or if you're not checking it, or, paying $60, $70 for baggage fees each way. Different things like that, depending on who you fly, and being confined in this little bitty seat for however long. And then if you have layovers. So for me personally, I would rather get in a car and just drive. I drove to Texas, and when they told us they didn't want us to fly, instead of, they're like, you can drive, it's not that big a deal. They just didn't want us sitting in airports and on planes or whatever. They were concerned with COVID and us, possibly being exposed on the way down. I mean, it was probably 19 hours driving, but it really doesn't bother me that much. I mean, I go to and from St. Louis in one day. I'll drive down to St. Louis, spend 3 or 4 hours because my boys are down there, and my oldest never comes back up because he's got to work and different things like that. So he never gets to come back up. So I'll go down there, eat lunch with him, hang out with him for a while, and then get back on the road and drive back with my youngest. And then do that again 3 days later. I just actually did it. I drove down on Friday. I was actually supposed to drive down, take him back on Monday, but because of the weather, I knew it was going to be bad. So I actually ended up turning around and going back down and back again on Sunday. So it makes for a long weekend sitting in a car, but
well,
but you get to see the kids. I'm not going to see them again until the end of March, beginning of April. I try to get them as much as I can.
When you drive, do you like to drive with someone to keep you company? I mean, from the point of talking and that, or does it?
No. If I want to talk to someone, so like when I drove down, I'll talk on the phone a lot. When I'm going down, I'll talk to friends or family. That's when I'll call my parents a lot and talk to them because, we'll talk for an hour or two. Or I actually got to talk to a buddy of mine from the military that I haven't talked to in probably 2 years or more. But, I mean, sometimes I don't want to talk to anybody. Sometimes I just want to sit and listen to either a podcast or music or whatever. On the way back, I hardly talked to anybody. I just sat and listened to music all the way home. So
and I like that too. I have to have something going on in the car, though. I have to have music or, like you said, a podcast, something. I don't even like driving. I mean, when it's quiet like that and you're on the interstate, that tends to make me just go take a nap.
So, well, the drive between St. Louis and Dayton is, it's so boring. I mean, I can get home and go, gosh, I don't even remember driving through Illinois because it's just boring, straight, flat. Same thing in Indiana. I'm like, I don't remember much of that trip. It's because it's so mundane the whole way. It's
There's some boring places to drive in this country, and that's one of them between there. And then Kansas,
where that same barn just keeps coming as you're driving down 70.
Yeah. And we went to Iowa last year, and I can tell you that it's the same. I mean, it's like cornfield after cornfield after cornfield. But then you see some like wind turbine farms and things like that, which kind of breaks it up a little bit. It's just pretty much drag. But flying's the way to go if you need to get there fast and get. Fast. But, sometimes though the flights, that can be as long as with delays and things like that as it would be if you hopped in the car. A lot of people fly to short places, and I'm like, why would you do that? I'd just drive it. But
that's my concern, like coming up, because there's a possibility that there might be another storm. I looked up some of the schedules. Well, some of these flights were delayed like 5 and 6 hours. And I'm like, so what? I'm going to have to go sit in the airport for 5 or 6 hours?
Yeah, no
just to wait to get on the plane, to sit on the plane now for another 2 or 3 hours.
We've got to go to Alaska this summer for a wedding. And, that's
no direct flights there.
That's either through Chicago or somewhere like that. So that'll be a challenge. And we're also traveling with kids with little kids and grandbabies. We'll see how that one shakes out, but it's going to be fun once we get there. I'm looking forward to seeing Alaska. Our son that's up there in the military, and he just sends some pictures that are spectacular. I can't wait to see it.
I've never been there, never visited there. Always, of course, wanted to be stationed there. But, it looks absolutely beautiful.
Yeah.
We talk about the beaches. I do love the mountains too. I love the mountains out west, Colorado. I've been out there. I mean, beautiful scenery. There's nowhere that I wouldn't go at least once.
I agree. I've been to Tijuana even. So
I have too. I walked across that bridge.
Yeah, that's a challenge.
Had a buddy. I didn't know if he was going to make it back, but
yeah, that's one place to be careful. Like anytime you cross the border, I think you just
yes,
situational awareness.
I think they frown upon going over there now.
I think so. I agree. But all right, well, you know what? We've been on here about 40 minutes, so we're gonna have to wrap this up today with.
I think so.
Talk around town, and it's been a great dialogue. I'd love hearing where you like to go, and
yeah, you as well.
People, you don't know anything about anybody, even if you're close to them and talk to you, until you start digging into like things that they enjoy. And, we've talked about bourbons, we've talked about other things, but the vacation side is so important to all of us, and to be able to get away. And I enjoy it. I know you do too. And I hope you have a great trip and enjoy your trip.
Thank you.
Put your toes in the sand. You taking a guitar with you?
Well, now that we're flying, I don't know. I do have a little travel guitar that I could probably throw in an overhead bin that it usually fits. So we're going to see. Well, most likely I'm going to try and sneak it on the plane.
if you play down there anywhere on the beach, or you sit in with everybody, have somebody take. I know your wife will take video. I know she will.
She will. She will take videos and pictures. She is our videographer, photographer.
The paparazzi for Route 8.
Yeah, you can check her out at. I always say it's at Chris10, KRIS10 photograph. She says photograph. I say photograph, but
so
she's on Instagram.
KRS10. Okay.
KRIS.
KRIS10. Okay.
Yeah, I think it might be KME photographer. I say photograph. Photograph.
Find her out
find
there.
Her.
Follow her.
Yeah, you can find her. If you go to my Instagram page, you can find. I always tag her in the photos.
Perfect.
So you can find her that way. And she's got a lot of good photos. A lot of guys around town, whenever we go do some of these events, Acoustapalooza and these different fundraiser events, she'll take photos of all the different players and everything, and then she'll doctor them up and send them to them. And a lot of the guys will end up using them. Like Heath Bowling, every time she takes pictures of him, he ends up using it as a profile picture or event picture or whatever else. So
tell her to put her little logo in the corner of those too.
I keep telling her to do that.
Little watermark on there never hurt anybody.
That's right.
So guys, if you're watching today and you've watched this all the way through and we didn't bore you to death and you checked out early, remember to subscribe to our YouTube channels, All Around Town Radio under mine, Geoff Edwards Music under Geoff there. It's popped up on the screen.
That's it.
Is that it on YouTube? It is Geoff Edwards Music, right?
I think it's just Geoff Edwards at the moment.
It'll get there.
You're going to have a lot more subscribers and a lot more view time. So go hit the thumbs up, subscribe to us, whatever, so we can start reaching more people. And let us know again. Yeah. We say this all the time. Let us know who you want to see, because we're going to bring some more people back on here soon. Let us know who you want to hear from and who you want to find out a little bit more about.
And throw us a comment too. If you have a favorite vacation spot you want to promote in the comments on the shows or whatever, throw it in there. We'd love to hear from you and know you're watching and listening. So thanks everybody for being here for episode 12 of Talk Around Town.
And thank you, Scott.
Thank you, Geoff Edwards.
Hopefully this works. Hopefully this one works out with your StreamYard there.
Yeah, we'll see how she goes here. And we thank you all for watching today. We're out of here. So see you next time.